Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. If you were watching a couple of weeks ago, you saw the video where we changed the belts in this Tascam 122. Well, that procedure was a complete success. The mechanism works perfectly. But when I was testing it afterwards, I noticed that in record, I had a dead channel. And typically on these machines, that normally means a couple of things. The most common thing is a bad op amp, could be capacitors, could be a bad solder joint. So today we're going to dig in, test it out, troubleshoot it, and get this thing fixed. Stay tuned. Now the op amp or operational amplifier is a very, very common failure mode in these. Tiny little chip. It's an 8-pin package, so it shouldn't be too hard to replace, but I want to do a couple of quick tests on it just to see if I notice anything that might be a little bit off on it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set our multimeter to the diode position, continuity. All right, that's working. Put the glasses on here because I'm getting old and blind. So an op amp has a voltage input and a voltage output. So those are two of the pins. Then it has two outputs, one for each channel, and two inputs. One of them's inverted. So we should get a diode junction across our inputs and our outputs. So if we look here, now we are testing this in situ, so that can cause a few issues. And that's what I was running into in my initial testing, was that it seemed like some of the values were a little bit high. But everything was pretty consistent. So that made me think, well, what about voltages? Because this has about, I believe, 22, 24 volts, something like that, DC running into it. So what we're going to do is if we set this and go into record mode. All right, so with this powered on in record mode, we should be able to go in here and just check some voltages and see if we're getting anything across that chip. Now, the interesting thing that I found, if I come in here and probe the outputs, on one channel I get about 6.5 volts. On the other channel's output, I get about 12 volts. So to me, that's telling me that there may be something wrong with this chip. These things are cheap. They're relatively easy to mess with. So I think we're going to go ahead and replace this. There were a couple other things I wanted to take a look at too, though. Let's flip this over and I'll show you what I mean. Now, a couple of these things are kind of hard to see, but it looks like somebody's been in here before messing with it, because there's some joints that just don't look really good. Like there's one down here that I can't tell if it's supposed to be bridged or not. The ones on the other side are not, but I can clearly see a solder bridge in there. And then there's a couple other ones that just look a little bit suspect as we look down through here. So I think besides replacing that op amp, which is up here, I think we're going to go ahead, desolder this, see what it's supposed to look like under there, and then come back and look at those again. But looking at these, it looks like these are all on a common plane. So these may both be grounds or power, depending on what this rail is here. So I think these will probably end up being okay. But it looks like there may be a tiny bridge jumping across to here, which definitely would have kind of a negative effect. So let's go ahead and get the soldering iron heated up, and we'll get ready to go ahead and desolder all this and see if we can make this thing work. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off just by seeing if we got a little bridge in between here, and it looks like we do. Yeah, it looks like we had a little bridge connection in between those two pads. So I just whisked that away with the soldering iron there. Looks like somebody's replaced those components before. All right, so now we could start on the op amp here. See if we can get it desoldered. without tearing anything up. So far, looks like it's going pretty well. This is going to be one of those components where when we put the new one in, we're not going to want to spend too much time on each pin. We sure don't want to cause any heat damage to that op amp, because I'm sure it is heat sensitive. Let's heat up that solder a little bit. There we go. Alright, so I got the new op amp put in, and I held it in with a piece of electrical tape just to make sure that the chip doesn't fall back out, since we have to solder this from the back side. Now we want to make sure that our tip is nice and clean before we start. And we're going to have to do this quick. We don't want to spend a lot of time on this chip, and we're going to let it cool down a little bit in between, because heat will destroy this. So we're going to do one pin on one end. And then we're going to do a pin on the opposite side to hold it in place. There we go. We're going to let that cool for just a second. I don't want to overheat this chip at all, because we will absolutely destroy it. So now we'll work in a pattern. We'll go from one side to the other. We'll start here opposite of where we started initially, making sure we hit that pad. Get some solder in there, and then just let it cook. There we go. Go a little bit down here. There we go. Good. We'll clean our tip a little bit here. Now I know people have preferences. I always use a chisel tip on mine. It's probably a little bit too big for this project, but it's what I'm used to using. We're just touching that lead and the pad at the same time, then flowing the solder right into it. There we go. And two more pins. There's one. And there's two. And next we'll check these for bridges, make sure we don't have anything bridged out, and that should complete that repair. As is totally par for the course for this channel, that wasn't the end of the repair. And I kind of thought that I may have other issues besides just that op amp. Once I got that done, I ran some tests on it, and I was able to get a little bit more sound. It would pop in, it would pop out, it was real crackly. So that got me thinking, maybe there's a component after that op amp that is, shorting out, not working properly, and that's what was loading that op amp down and basically shutting that off. So I brought out my miniature oscilloscope, little digital oscilloscope, and did some probing on that op amp. And what I found is that the inputs were absolutely fine, and that output was shorted. So I moved down the board and found a couple of capacitors that were completely dead. The electrolytic, it registered a little bit in situ, the other one completely not. So I desoldered those, replaced them with some new ones, and now it's working great. Let's have a listen. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it'll help somebody out there who's having similar issues with their Tascam deck. You know, those polyester capacitors were part of a polyester capacitor plague of the 80s, like so many other capacitors back then, that they just stopped working. And ended up being the main issue in this deck was those. But at least now you know how to replace an op amp, the capacitors, you know, kind of what to look for. So hopefully this helps somebody out. That's all I have for this week. I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you like this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do that. It really, really helps me out. And if you enjoy this type of content, want deeper dives, a little bit longer cuts on some of these videos that I do, make sure you check out the Studio Access memberships. It's not for everybody, and it's totally optional, but if you enjoy that type of thing, it may be for you. Until next time, happy listening.